Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Yeah. What up,
Y'all ready
girl?
for this? Da-na-na-na-da-da-da-da-da-da. Welcome to Jock Jams, the show where we once again pump it up, roll it
We
out.
pump, we pump it up.
Yeah, run down the field, run up the field, maybe.
Just run on fields.
Just run on sentences.
We hate punctuation at Covered Dish. Only semicolons here.
Yeah, remember when I used to turn looks on this show and now it's just librarian 1, librarian 2, librarian 3.
Whatever, I changed into my out of work hoops. You're welcome. They look remarkably similar to my work hoops. But they feel different.
Uh-oh, there'll be trouble in the maidens' quarters tonight.
Girl, I'm in a hotel room in Cincinnati, Ohio. Shouts.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Surrounded by lamps. Follow me on Instagram. I'll post the video of how many lamps are around me to get this mediocre lighting. It's not even that good.
Hot hotel content.
Yes, hot hotel content.
Mm-hmm.
I got my LaCroix and my backup LaCroix. So we ready for this.
Nice. A variety.
A variety.
I just have caffeine-free Coke Zero.
You again continue to inspire.
For the distinguished lady of elegance.
So gross. You're just drinking brown water.
Yeah.
I don't understand caffeine-free Coke Zero.
I mean, do you like Coke?
Yeah, but does it taste like Coke?
Yeah, just tastes like Coke.
Just tastes like Coke.
But you can sleep, and there's no sugar.
So tell me about this outfit, and, like, how are you feeling?
I think this outfit is sort of like 2 parts office, 1 part Ren Fair.
Okay.
She's eclectic. She's very eclectic.
She's so busy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Peep the embroidery on the sleeves and the waist, and it does need to be ironed a little bit, but I like these sort of, like, Godet panels going down here, so, like, this is why it looks kind of motley.
Yeah,
Like
that's really interesting. You know what? It's a little pirate-ish.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like Keira Knightley in Pirates of the Caribbean.
In Knights of the Caribbean.
Knights of the Caribbean.
The underknown sequel.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Johnny Depp didn't pass the screen test with that one.
I love it. I love that look. I really do.
Thank you. I feel like I should be playing a mandolin. Like I'm a bard. It's like a bard dress. Did you ever just want to go to the office and spin?
All the time.
Yeah, I know I do.
I love it.
You know, it's just like my father, George Channing, said to me in 1967. He said, Carol, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You mind if I drop a quick story time on this? They had just announced the film of Hello, Dolly in 1964. And I said, you know what? 10 years earlier, Marilyn stole Gentlemen Prefer Blondes from me. And not a lot of people remember that I was the first one to play Dolly Levi on Broadway. So when I got the call in 1967, I thought, this is it. David Merrick's going to tell me I pulled it off. Keep your head the game, Carol. And he said, Carol, we've got to give it to Barbara. Because your voice doesn't translate from the stage to the screen. And I can't imagine why. But that's a story for another time.
God. This is just going to be you doing Carol Channing impressions. By the way, I don't understand this chair and almost absolutely fell backwards. So would have been amazing. Carol Channing level comedic timing on that.
Yeah.
Girl, what are we talking about tonight?
The golden age of Hollywood? No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about something very, very exciting. And
talking about lamps.
Lamps, interior lighting.
What is on everybody's mind?
Oh, stagecraft, you know, like how to build an interior set with light design. No, we are in fact talking about something very near and dear to my heart and something very complex. This is a very complex topic, Brooke. We're talking about foreplay.
Oh.
Could you even? Would you? Could you?
In a boat?
Have you ever?
I love this topic. I'm very excited about it, girl. So, all right, foreplay, yay or nay? Get it out there.
Required. I would say. I would say required. Okay.
Like, what is the line from To Wong Fu? Your approval is neither desired nor required.
Yes.
This is desired and required.
Yeah, this is the opposite of that. This is desired and required. Because, listen, the days of wham bam thank you ma'am are long over. For me. I don't know about for everyone, but they're over for me.
I feel like but it's just like one of those things that, like, again, unrealistic expectations from everything that we were raised on, where it's just like, yeah, that's what people do, right?
That just not do foreplay?
Exactly.
Oh.
Like, which is terrible.
I mean, what are we teaching to the children?
I know.
You know?
And you know what all the Republicans think we're teaching to the children. So there you go.
Well, nothing, and then you get it on the internet. And let me tell you what's not happening on the internet. Foreplay. So no,
foreplay.
Right. So everyone's disappointed. You know how like everyone is talking about like the first time story and like everyone was miserable. Nobody had fun.
You know,
are we shocked? Are we shocked? Why?
Foreplay is such a heteronormative term. So let's just like take it for a second, because really, foreplay is saying before, right, the main event. And if the main event is always penis and vagina intercourse, then what is foreplay? Because so much queer sex is, by definition, only foreplay. I'm thinking about this quote that just went viral, and I don't know if anyone's seen it, that Harry Styles is pretty much like, there's no, in his new movie where there's gay sex with him and another man, he's like, oh yeah, like there's no intimacy. It's just like super rough. There's so much gay sex. And I was like, this is such an unhealthy thing for an actor to say about portraying gay sex on screen, because it's like, obviously just perpetuating the damage.
Yeah, the character study was just Brokeback Mountain and nothing else.
Exactly.
It's just like, got it. Tent. Outdoor activities.
Can of baked beans.
Yeah.
No talking.
Dry.
Right. Like,
yeah.
So ridiculous. But to my point is, like, sex and foreplay is not at a boulder. Right? What does that mean?
Wait, foreplay's not a boulder? What did you say?
Foreplay is in the...
It's in Colorado?
Foreplay's the eye of the beholder.
The eye of the beholder. It's also well lit.
Go into the light.
Oh, you look like touched by an angel. Yeah. You're like, hey.
Yeah, it's in the eye of the beholder. Even that term is so heteronormative, right?
Well, you bring up a good point, which is like, you remember But I'm a Cheerleader? This is a very queer reference. So straight people, we're assigning you some required reading, and it's watching But I'm a Cheerleader with Natasha Lyonne. RuPaul is in it. It's incredible. It's about straight conversion camp, but it's funny. So figure that one out.
We brought up that in Tu Wong Fu, and it's 7:08. So I feel like we're doing really good on the topical, relevant, up-to-date references. We'll reference a Marvel movie.
Do you ever feel like we pander too much to heteros?
Do you ever feel like we pander too much to only one another?
Yeah. The show truly is just for us. But anyway, do you remember the towards the end of their curriculum, they have to do like simulated, it's like a euphemism for sex. It's like simulated intercourse or something. And they're wearing like flesh-colored bodysuits with leaves on the boobs and the genitalia. So just like the son, who is obviously in the closet of the woman who's running the camp, is like, but Mom, what about foreplay? And she's like, foreplay is for sissies. Real men get in, unload, and get out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like that's what we're dealing with.
But there's like so many, there's so many cultural implications. There's so many cultures where, like, even in heteronormativity, right? Like a man going down on a woman is considered absolutely like not manly and not man enough, and real men don't do that. And it's just like, what a fucking journey masculinity is for y'all. Like, how tiring. There's just so much to keep up with that you will inevitably fail.
Yeah, we're setting people up for failure. That's
in that way, masculinity that men have to deal with is very similar to all the other isms. You'll fail.
Yeah.
Always.
Right.
Congratulations.
Well, it's kind of like Minesweeper. I think I might have made this joke before on this show, but it's kind of like Minesweeper. So like the goal is that you get to like the beginning levels of Minesweeper, where you don't know exactly where everything is, but like there's lots of areas that are just open for exploration. You're not too worried about where you're stepping.
Right.
And then like traditional masculinity in our culture is like the highest level of Minesweeper, where like you're just on your one little square. You're afraid to step anywhere outside of that because you don't know. There's like dozens. There's dozens of don't touch me's. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
it's rough. So like, just maybe like
Well,
open yourself up to the possibility.
I was having this conversation with someone who's newly queer, and she was talking to me about it, and she's like, I'm going on dates now and
Mm.
blah blah blah, and she's been, presenting as straight for decades. And I said, one of the biggest things you have to learn is that like having a conversation about what sex acts you both are into is essential because there's not a default in queer sex.
Yeah.
A and B, you got to make it fashion, make it sexy, make it fun, be on a date, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But right, but don't say anything that you're not committed to. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm really surprised choking, and then you get into bed and you're like, oh, surprised I'm actually not, right? Like, that's a problem.
Whoops.
But like,
yeah.
Oops, oopsie. Make it sexy, make it fashion, so that you can do it. And she was like, you know what? Actually, that's the best advice. Obviously, this story is going to end in a compliment to me. This is the best advice I've gotten because it's actually something I didn't do when going on dates with men. Because the expectation is it always ends the same. And I'm like, how boring. What is this, a fucking Disney movie from the 90s?
Yeah. There's a script, and I think we all have to deal with that, even queer people. Like, the script it's still floating around in the back of our minds that, like, there is sort of like a... is that number 2? Are we...
You know it.
We're moving on to Le Croix. Le Croix. Le Croix. We got any French? That lamp. Guest star, that lamp.
Yeah. And you have to say that lamp because there's so many fucking lamps around me. Anyways, you were saying?
Yeah, first name that, last name lamp, baby. That lamp. So I was saying, there's like a manual. There's like a manual that you have in your head, and you're like, okay, well, can we go off script? What's gonna happen? Like, it's a little bit anxiety producing, but there's so many different experiences, among like trans people, depending on what part of of your own personal journey you're in. You might not really be wanting certain body parts of yours to be touched. You know what I mean? And that's okay, but you got to talk about it. And maybe certain things are off the table for a little while. Maybe you're just not feeling certain things that time.
Right.
So, and
I think
talking about it doesn't have to be some whole production of like
clinical.
Let's sit down, hold each other's hands, and share aggressive eye gaze for like 15 minutes while we talk about boundaries. It can be a little more organic.
This is just for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I think it could be. Obviously, it can be more organic. But the other, kind of what you bring up is you're then, there is also the biology of it. So for foreplay, for some folks, that timing is key.
Oh, say more about that.
Like, well, if you have a sex partner who has a penis, and he's like, all right, well, we got to get this going, right?
Oh, let's talk about on-demand erections. Let's talk about the myth of let's go deep. Let's talk about the myth of on-demand erections, because there is so much pressure on men to just be able to get it up all the time for whatever reason. And it's
right, and they've been able to do that since they were like 15.
yeah. And the assumption is that everyone's able to do that until you get like old or something, right? But it's like some people, it's just not going to happen for whatever reason, like medications, right? If you're on antidepressants or anxiety medication, that can interfere with that. There's just so many different reasons where it's like we have to break the seal on some of these things and like look into it and be like, it's okay,
Right.
This is why I love burlesque, because it's an invitation to take sex less seriously. Yeah.
Oh, well, especially with your burlesque, because your comedic timing is fabulous.
And I can't imagine why.
Yeah, like I think there's this, right? Like it's both sides, right? So it's the expectation of, okay, you're gonna get this magic card on whenever I want and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then, okay, you can just do as much foreplay as you want and I'll keep an erection. And it's like, that's not actually how that works either. Like, things ebb and flow and things change, and like you can't rely on that, and you have to have an open conversation of like, all right, what is the range of foreplay where I'm ready, where you're ready, and you feel comfortable, but you don't feel like you're like, oh, okay, I lost it. Yeah. Because that's also different for every person.
Yeah.
And just because you can see an erection, right? Like it's like, oh, okay, you're ready. Like those conversations have to happen regardless of the parts.
Yeah. And it takes some amount of trust and vulnerability, which, you can kind of build over time. So, there can be a lot of foibles and misunderstandings, the first couple times. Like, stuff might, you might not have prepared yourself, and so, like, you're trying to do anal and something happens and you get embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like,
Foibles. I love the word sexual foibles.
a sexual foible. But
All right, girls. So, not a scale of 1 to 10. Get in the chat. How many people has Eileen Galvin made cry during foreplay?
oh my god. Only my
One,
doctor knows
two-
for sure.
1, 2, or C is 3 or more.
Oh my gosh.
Regale us of one tale, girl. Just one. You only have to share one.
Okay. Well, the answer is 3 that I know of. 4. It's 4.
Oh my god, the answer is 3 or more. If you got 3 or more, we'd send you an oopsie koopsie mug, but they're still in my garage. So
Yeah. Did I give them to you? Do you have them?
No, you have them.
Okay.
Just comedy.
Just comedy.
It's just what I do.
Well, you know what? Eileen taking things at face value, Galvin. That's me.
She is a literal queen, and we stand a literal queen.
Yeah, not a literal queen, but like...
No.
See, further proving the point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can tell why I was popular in English class with the teacher and no one else. No one else.
Really popular on test day. They don't want to sit close to you so they can read your paper.
Yeah, every day was me going, actually, and then just everyone's eyes roll right out of their heads. So anyway, okay, let's get into this gig, okay? So I had an appointment, a date. It's a date. I had an appointment set up. An appointment. I had a date set up with a man, and we didn't know him super well, but we had like made out once, and then we went out to dinner, and then it was like, okay, let's go back to my place. So we went back to my place, and we're doing like what happened?
The sun. Hold on.
How did you get surprised by the sun?
Because I'm a vampire.
Oh my god.
I've been inside all day.
That's
okay.
why we're friends. That's why we're friends.
That's why we're friends. Okay, so you met a man, you had made out, gone to dinner.
Right. So we went to dinner, we came back to my place, and we're doing like, making out, things are fun. We're doing heavy petting kind of activities. And it's for me it's a lot of cuddling, like I just like this sounds sad, but I just really like the physical contact. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was great. That part was great. And then I asked a question that was something like, it wasn't how are you feeling? It was like, it was something like, this is what I said. I said, isn't being close to somebody just great? Something I thought was pretty innocuous. And then just tears.
What?
Yeah, just tears. So, like, if you don't know me, dear viewers, if you don't know me that well, I have this unfortunate habit of, like, switching into therapist mode at inopportune times. And so, like, I'll strike up a conversation with someone at the bar who's, like, a couple drinks ahead of me, and I'll just ask them a question that is something that you probably ask someone you know pretty well, but I just like, really want to ask someone, like, I want to have a meaningful conversation, you know what I mean? So I was just like, isn't it really nice just being close to somebody and just tears? And I was like, what is happening? You know what I mean? Like, walk me through how we got here. And it's just like, no one in my life really asked me questions like that. And like, clearly it had just like, it was the drop that broke the dam. You know what I mean? Like, this had been building up for a long time, and there was just something waiting. There was something waiting to come out.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, that's when you sort of like draw back and you sort of sit up, and I get out my legal pad and my pen and I say, sit down on the couch, and I just go, let's work through this, because Because for me, when that happens, I'm not wanting to progress farther into the
Well, right. Yeah. How do
sexy
you?
zone.
Right.
I'm like, now I want to make sure you're okay.
Oh my gosh, I always am like feeling super sexy after I cry. That's a bizarre thing about me, by the way.
Right after you cry?
Yeah, I feel like the release, and there's something that happens with my hormones where I'm
Oh,
like,
catharsis.
yeah. And I've never had a partner that's like, great, you just cried for
Yeah.
like 20 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, no.
Catharsis is a high for sure. And if you've been with someone for years and you've built up that depth of a relationship, then sure,
Yeah.
right? If someone
Right? No, I know. Yeah. No,
Sorry,
this is
I
not.
had
This is not. No, not talking about that. But I'm just saying, as a
Mhm.
side, as an overshare thing bar.
Yeah, so
Girl,
this person that I didn't know starts crying unannounced. And I said, "Get out of my house." No, I didn't say that. Get out of my house. So I just said like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, do you want to talk?" And so we just talked for a while. And then it seemed like we reached a certain amount of equilibrium. And in that moment, in a mixture of spoken and mostly unspoken communication, it was like, okay, let's proceed. You know what I mean? But then that slight anxiety in the back of my head about the emotional valence of the other person is kind of with me. It's now with us in the room, right?
That's wild.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to qualify about our promo that we are perfectly pro men crying. But it is also kind of unexpected in certain situations. Just because
I am very pro men crying.
You don't see it coming sometimes, right?
Yeah.
There's a facade. Yeah. There's a facade that has...
And this was specifically men crying during foreplay, which is also fine, but I just think your statistics are higher than most. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I've made a few men cry during foreplay. There's no question about it. But like, man, your stats are high.
I think you, me, and the viewers at home are discovering why together. Because of the questions I ask.
You do ask like incredibly invasive and personal questions of people. No, you're so right. You nailed it though, because it's like 2 more tiers into the depth of the friendship, and those questions would make sense. You always just, and it's not like so extreme that anyone would notice if they weren't friends with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, dude, it's like if you're like an acquaintance, you're like, I'm going to ask you a question I'd ask a friend.
Oh.
And if you're a friend, you'd ask the question that you'd ask a best friend. And like, it just keeps, it's like so funny. But I will say, to credit to you, that's how we've gotten as close as we've gotten. Because you take social and emotional risk in that way. You're like, I want to know about this. I want to feel like I want to know about this so I can deepen our relationship or not. And I think it's actually not only an incredible gift, I think it's also an incredible risk that I love that you take.
Well, thank you, girl. And I also feel like you were willing to go with me on that, and you were really like open, and then you would respond by like asking me deep, meaningful questions. Like we just got to the good stuff very quickly.
But I've seen you like at a bar, and I've just seen like someone like break down with you, like, and I'm just like, what's happening? And you're like.
And you just take me by the elbow and you're like, maybe we find a graceful exit. Like, I don't think this is going anywhere good.
And they're on their like 3rd Manhattan and you're on your 2nd and they're about to order their 4th. And I'm like, barkeep, we gotta get going.
Yeah.
We have to go. And we have another show in my house.
And I'm just turnt enough to be like, I don't know what happened. And then you're like, we need to go.
And I'm like, I know what happened.
That you and that lamp looks like an author bio picture, like on a dust cover of your 2nd or 3rd novel. Yeah, with that face, just like, I'm having a great time.
2nd book.
Can I tell you? I was just thinking about it a little bit in my head of like being at the bar with people I don't know and like crying happening. Can I tell you one of my favorite questions that I asked a stranger at the bar?
Oh my God, yes.
They were talking to me about how they had just gotten out of a couple short relationships, and they were telling me about, I don't remember what was, they said this always happens, and it was like, this happened with this person, this happened with this person, this happened with this person. And I was like, I was listening, and then I was like, what do you think the common denominator on that is? And I did not meet, that was not supposed to be a read. But it surely did come across like one.
Girl, survived that night. I'm surprised you didn't get stabbed.
Or at least punched. I was like, after I walked that back in my head, I was like, yeah, maybe I could have worded that a different way.
What's the comment? And again, were you friends?
No. I just really wanted to know.
I love you.
I just really wanted to know. I was like, why do you think that keeps happening to you? Oh, girl.
That's why I love you. Oh my God. Anyways,
speaking of mind
I think
I'm not good at it.
We're on the same page with foreplay.
Yeah, we are.
Which I feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our key always is open communication. And I do think that is something that was not communicated, certainly in my ridiculous Catholic upbringing of not having sex ever and never talking about sex, of like how to make it sexy and how to make it fun and how to push, how to have those boundaries, but also to redefine foreplay. So to your point, the social and emotional foreplay that is needed for whatever the sex act is. Foreplay is in the eye of the beholder. You can determine it.
Yeah.
Foreplay for me is a nice dinner. Okay. Now, you know what I mean? Like, what are the things you need to feel close and feel safe and feel comfortable and sexy?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, are there any things that you won't do during foreplay? Any no-nos? Foreplay no-nos?
Foreplay no-nos. I probably won't eat a burger. That's probably something I wouldn't do. I just feel like it would get messy. You?
Well, you also don't eat burgers unless it's a special occasion.
It would be a black bean burger.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or an Impossible Burger. Get progressive, Eileen. Jeez.
I think anything that is like really dirty that is not followed by a shower.
Oh, that's a really good call. Yeah, same.
Yeah, I like clean. What happens right before is clean. That just has to be a thing.
Yeah. No, you know what? I've added that to my list. You know what? No burgers, but lots of travel snacks. Shall we take a look?
Ooh, okay. Well, take us on a journey. Oh my God, not the Star-Kissed light chunk tuna, the cashews, the orange, the planters. Oh my God, we're not done. What is that? Oh, is that fruit slices?
No.
Wait, hold up the last thing a little bit closer to your face.
Banana chips.
Potato chips. Oh my God, girl.
It's that almond butter from Whole Foods that costs more than your car.
Almond butter.
I only get 1 or 2 of those. They're a real special treat. I saved those for the last day.
Oh my God.
You don't want to know how many of these tuna packets I have, girl. And I brought plastic forks and I eat it plain.
Brooke, I don't want to like spill the tea too much on this program, but one time I remember we were living together. I knew that you had hit a new low because I came in and you were just eating almond butter out of the jar in the kitchen.
I do that.
And I was like, hey.
Hey, sweet pea.
What's going on? And your response to me was, I wanted to eat peanut butter, but peanut butter is not paleo. And you were
Oh, I was in my full paleo terrible phase. Oh, that was so terrible.
Oh, girl.
That is so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I just slowly backed out of the room. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, hey, what's going on?
Okay.
I'm gonna leave with my friend Lamb.
I just gathered up all the light fixtures in the room and just left you in the dark.
There's an inferior lamp next to me. I'm not even going to show you. It's trash. Anyways. Oh, girl.
Oh, how about this lamp? How about that lamp?
Oh, is that ducks?
It is ducks, yes. It belonged to the general.
Oh, wow. That, you know what? It pulls the whole room together.
Does it? Well, look at the bird prints.
Yeah, no, it's just birds. The theme is
birds. There's another bird over there that you can't see.
Secret birds.
Secret birds.
Well, girl, we're at time, which I can't believe we are. But you can join us every Tuesday.
Probably for more Lamps and Carol Channing impersonations.
At 7 p.m. Please rewatch, like, subscribe on YouTube. Like our Facebook page. Check us out. I always like when people besides Eileen's dad watch our show, so please tell your friends. We will be back next week. I will be Oh, I don't know where I'm going to be in the world, but I'll be somewhere, and I can't wait to see you all.
Where in the world is that lamp? Right there. All right. Well, anyway, I don't know how to close this out, girl. We've covered so much ground. But in the meantime, remember not to learn about sex from Brokeback Mountain. All right. Bye. See you next time.
That's a good rule for life. And fuck Harry
Yeah.
Styles for not riding for gay sex.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
All right. Bye.